when we see a fire department that does have some resources, that's able to share and help out another department in need, that's a great commitment from community.
Well, what goes on inside the volunteer fire department, the news you just shared is extraordinary, and I think that's great. But what goes on simply in our smaller communities, and some are absolutely just neighbours of St. John's, the way that people are willing to staff up and to work hard and be committed to being a volunteer firefighter, which is different than if I go selling 50/50s at a bingo or something, to know that you have to have that professional type of training, which is professional training. The only difference between them and pro firefighters, they don't get paid, and to have the courage and to know how important it is, I think it's remarkable. And I've gone to some volunteer firefighter functions, and I think it's extraordinary what they do. Anyway, I just want to throw that in there.
One of the things, I think it's remarkable too. Our fire departments really step up, and we do need to look at their resourcing and how we can better implement different pieces of equipment and services throughout the province to make sure that our communities are protected. But in listening to, I guess, Clyde, I've met Clyde before, and he's certainly a champion of the cell phone piece for the Burin Peninsula. And today I'm going to be speaking to the St. Anthony and Area Chamber of Commerce. Our MHA responsible for finance, Kathy Bennett, has done a series of Let's Connect, It's Our Economy. And that's certainly a presentation that I want to talk about, building a more diversified economy here in St. Anthony. And we do have a lot of successes, but, two pillars to really building that advanced economy and diversifying is through telecommunications and transportation networks. And I've had a number of meetings and dialogue with providers. And, sometimes it's not as simple as putting up one tower, giving the geography and topography of the province. Sometimes it requires two. Like on the Great Northern Peninsula here, we have, in some areas, poor cell coverage. I look at the St. Lanier-Griquet and surrounding area, which has about 50 independent businesses. It has Lanson Meadows, a World UNESCO Heritage Site, with 30,000 tourists that visit there annually, as well as a number of other key attractions and commuters that generally work in the St. Anthony area. And there are 15 communities that basically have no coverage in that area. 2 towers would cover it, and the provider has several $100,000 on the table and a proposal with government. And government has the ability, through its rural broadband initiative, to cover off, such a proposal and help improve cellular coverage on the Great Northern Peninsula, and there hasn't been any movement from the government on this particular matter. And, I would like to say that, we need to find the right supports, the right type of partnerships, and when you have a private company that's willing to come forward to improve public infrastructure, there should be some movement on these particular matters.
Yeah, and I think we expect that to happen. I sure hope we can, because it's one of the catch-22s. You have to have it in place. It's, I guess better said, if you build it, they will come. There's a better opportunity for new jobs to be created, new tourists that possibly will consider your site if they know they can get high-speed internet and a cell connection, because that's important to many people's everyday life, and they will make decisions sometimes on their tourism dollar on the smallest thing, and that could be one. So it's important. On the economic diversification issue, which I think, if we can't get down to the brass tacks of what we're actually going to do here, we're all going to be in trouble. Mm-hmm. What did you make of the announcement of the venture capital opportunities that will now be present here, which will, if people take advantage of it, private sector and government combined, the significant, whatever that means, job creation in Newfoundland will be a result of it. Are you behind the venture cap fund? Do you think it's an appropriate place to put some of our attention on our investment? What do you think?
Well, I think that venture capital can provide some opportunities. The tech sector in the province is growing. It represents, $1.6 billion in the province, and a number of several thousand jobs. It's, and there are opportunity to look at research and further tech. The venture capital dollars is a re-announcement basically from the budget. In estimates, the provincial government is not contributing $20 million direct from public tax dollars. It's a combination of other private funding, angel investors, etc., to come up with that overall amount of money based on what was said in the estimates. One of the funds in particular is an Atlantic fund, so it's not necessarily improving the access to capital, and I'd like to see more of the details when it's the look at the Newfoundland and Labrador Fund. But certainly venture capital can create opportunities, but I think there are other aspects where government could be investing tax dollars to generate a greater return on investment, because venture capital can be very high risk and not necessarily generate the returns we're looking at. But there certainly are opportunities. So it's about finding a balance. I'd like to see a policy where we look at more telecommunications to generate that increased revenue. Just looking at the economy in St. Anthony area, for example, we have the second largest international containerized shipping port in the province. We have a cruise ship destination at St. Anthony and at Lansing Meadows. We have cold storage. We have capacity to expand and create new tourism, new business opportunities. But when we don't have the telecommunications piece, for the sake of a few $100,000, we're basically reducing our growth and jobs and the economy by that roadblock that's there. So I think that government needs to take a pragmatic approach when it looks at investing its tax dollars.
And fair ball, and the telecommunications piece, I think everyone recognizes it. It's whether or not we can make any forward move while we include, hopefully, the private sector and the telecommunications companies to play what should be an active role. We'll see, because we don't have much leverage to use with them. But I appreciate your time. Enjoyed the conversation this morning, Chris. Stay in touch.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.